Hey, what's going on, friends? First of all, I hope you have already watched part one of the leadership class coaching session entitled How to Show Up as a Fully Present Leader Every Single Time, Every Single Day, in every single situation. If you haven't, please don't watch part two. This is part two. Go back, watch part one. And I'm picking up from the end of part one, beginning part two right now. Stay tuned for today's coaching session. So in video one, I started to talk about the 10 states of global awareness. And in part one, I left off talking about the state of active listening. And I'm going to pick right back up on the chart that I left off on, talking about the 3 levels of active listening. Superficial listening is we listen to respond. Deep listening is we listen to deliberate or to think about what we've heard. Spirit listening is we listen to empathize. There's that word again, the state of empathy. We're listening to empathize. Superficial listening is we listen to make sure we heard them correctly. Deep listening is we listen to make sure they know we heard them correctly. But listen to this one. Spirit listening is we listen so they feel we understood them. As I'm going through these 3 levels, I want you to kind of mark, maybe go back and replay this part and just mark where you fall and where you can improve too. If you're at a level 1, you can go to level 2. If you're at level 2, great, you can go to level 3. If you're at level 3, amazing, get better. Superficial listening. We listen to give an answer. Deep listening is we listen to ask a clarifying question. In other words, let me find out more. Spirit listening is we listen to give them space to talk and process. Sometimes people don't need a response from you, Mr. or Miss Leader. Sometimes you have to just let silence do the heavy lifting. Something like that. All right, now the 6th state of global awareness is the state of curiosity. The state of curiosity. As the leader, I'm reading here, as the leader, you want to have an insatiable appetite to know what empowers people to succeed. If you have a small team that you can get to, a team of no more than 10, that you can call them in for individual one-on-ones and ask them the question, how do I empower you? How do we get the best in you so we can get the best out of you or from you? Ask that question and take notes on as many of your directs, as many of your team members as possible, and commit to being curious, to actively listening to them so that you can find better ways and strategies on how to get that greatness out of them. When you do that, leader, your entire organization gets better. It is impossible to invest in people and your organizational results suck. Just doesn't happen. When you invest in people, they will invest in greater success levels of the organization. Now, when practicing curiosity, there are certain things that we want to consider. Number one, we want to consider their words. Again, going back to active listening, the 2nd level of active listening, which is deep listening, listening to their words. What will their words or what do their words reveal? You also want to pay attention to their tone. Listen to their words, but listen to their tone. Get curious about their tone. What does their tone reveal about what they're saying? Then you want to get curious about their body language. Are they twitching? Are they shrinking their shoulders? Is their chest out full of confidence and pride, that good pride that I got this, I know I can do it? Or when they said something, that they kind of looked down like this with maybe an unassured look or glance away from you. Now, this goes to the 738-55. I think that's what they call it rule, that 7% of your meaning behind your words are the words themselves. 38% is your tone, the tone that you're actually using. And 55% is your body language, right? So if my wife comes to me and says, Barry, you don't ever tell me you love me. Now, first of all, that never, ever, ever happens. My wife will tell you I tell her I love you like all day, every day. Sometimes it gets on her nerves how much I tell her how much I love her. But let's just imagine, for the sake of this example, that she comes to me and says, "You don't tell me you love me," and I says, "God, I love you." Right? Just imagine I say that. So, if I go by words alone, I said three words: "I love you." Right? There's meaning behind that. He meant he loved. No, he didn't mean, because you listen to the tone, but more importantly, you listen to that 55% body language that probably said, "I'm tired of you asking me this question over and over again. Why are you so freaking insecure?" Now, again, disclaimer, this does not happen with my wife and I. I tell her often, this is just an example. But my point is, as a leader, are you curious about people where you're asking two, three tiered questions? What does that mean? What do they mean when they say this? And not asking or being curious to protect yourself, but to release opportunities from you to be more fully present with their highest future self, so that you can help them move to a greater state of being for themselves and the whole. Remember, global awareness, the definition of global awareness, the definition of being present, or the state of presencing. We want to also be curious about your feelings and their feelings about a situation. In America, we have this thing, right, where there's a lot of division. There's a lot of people who don't believe the way I believe. I'm okay with that. I can find good in people, and I can be fully present with their highest future self. It's just my ability. I have a higher way of thinking. I'm not trying to brag or be bombastic or braggadocious. I just can see people greater than their limitations or how they see themselves. Sometimes I even see them better than they see themselves, and that encourages them, and it brings unity amongst us when I do that. So I want to be cognizant and curious, rather, of my feelings about what they're saying or what they believe, and their feelings, and see where there's some gaps. So again, in America, I don't get mad at people easy. I see posts all the time, and I love them. Come here, you little knucklehead! Oh, why'd you post that? And we laugh, and they will tell you that we're brothers and sisters, we're family. We go to church together. Some of us, I see them passing by, or maybe flying into a conference, and I'll see them and I'll love on them, because I'm curious about what makes them tick, because that's a temporary state. Something else is going to happen. They're going to change that. They're going to move to something else. And they're probably great parents, great children, great business thinkers. And I want to get to know the greater part of them, not that lower part. I want to see how I can bridge that gap between where they are, that two, and move them to a four or five or six. So I'm curious. Learn as a leader to be extremely curious about the people. Again, not so you can say, I knew it. I knew they were like that. No, it's not to prove. It's to show you, how do you show up more effectively? How do you be mindful? Curiosity and mindfulness probably can go together and marry each other and produce greater leadership opportunities for you. So again, learn to operate in the state of curiosity. Now, the seventh state is the state of love. Love, yes, yes, the state of love. Leaders have to operate from the state of love. Now, what I'm not talking about is emotional love and expressing your love to every individual. That will get you written up in some major HR trouble. Don't do that. That is not what Barry is saying. What I am saying is leading from a state of love where you love the human spirit and its capacity and its potential, where you look at people and you love the fact that they can get better, that there is more in them. And you're loving the opportunity that you, as their leader, get to invest into them. You get to coach them. You get to mentor them. If you want to have an organization, a team where people love showing up and give their all to producing goals and objectives and crossing the finish line and achieving that vision that you have as the leader, you must learn to operate from the state of love. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Of love, not the HR love. The eighth state of global awareness is the state of patience. Now, let me tell you, if you're going to operate from the state of love, you doggone sure need to operate from the state of patience because people are going to try you. Let me read this here for you. Leading from the state of patience helps you to clearly see the path to help others get where they want to go and help them overcome the roadblocks that stand in their way. That's a state of patience. You're patient enough to stay there with them. You're patient enough to see them through their mistakes over and over again, but yet know there's potential inside of them. I want you to think about that time that people didn't give you a chance and you made a mistake and they made you feel like the mistake you made. They spoke to you like you were a mistake. I want you to think about how did that make you feel as a person when they didn't offer you a chance or they let you go or they just swept you away because you didn't do it the way they did it or they projected their grace on you and said, well, I did it and I did it in 2 days. Why can't you get it done in 2 days? They didn't see how to mold you and they weren't curious about your work ability, your work ethic, your skill set level, and they weren't patient to help you grow. Is there anyone that you're leading, anyone that you're serving, that you need or can stand to be more patient with? Maybe it's a matter of becoming more curious, operating more and leading more from the state of curiosity to find out what's underneath that. I'm irritated when they do XYZ. What's underneath that? What's the real meaning? Maybe I'm not listening to them and they're trying to explain it, but I'm really not listening to them. So operate from the state of peace. And the 10th and final state of global awareness is the state. Hey, what's going on? Listen, I realized while the video was being edited that I totally skipped number 9. Number 9 is the state of peace. I kind of referenced it with 8 and then skipped over 9 and went straight to 10. So here is the state of peace. I'm going to read from the book, The State of Peace. Listen to this. You cannot allow situations to pull you out of character. Always maintain a spirit of peace within. Chaos will ensue. You will face opposition to your plans. In other words, just deal with it. It's going to happen. Plan for it. Some will not agree and some will choose to sow discord. Still maintain peace. Tap into this space that surpasses all understanding and guards your heart and your mind. I love this part right here. Being in the state of peace does not always make the situation better, but it will always make you better for the situation. So a lot of people talk about finding work-life balance and they have to figure out, how do I get everything even? Let me tell you this, work will never be even. So what we need is not work-life balance. We need to find work-life harmony. That's where the peace is. In other words, sometimes in my life, I tell my daughter, and she's 13, she's a daddy's girl, I have to tell her, baby girl, I'm going to be in the office until 10 o'clock. You're going to be long in bed. But tomorrow, right, I'm all yours. Saturday, I'm all yours. We're going to go to the mall. We're going to go to the beach. We're going to do whatever. So I have to find that harmony where sometimes life and work harmony is 90-10. 90% I'm giving to work, 10% I can only give to my family. But then I start to notice, no, I need to spend time with my family. And then it's 99-1, where it's 1% work, or sometimes 100-0, where I'm all in with my family and I'm not doing any work. So I need you to find that work life harmony. If you need to step away and tap into that higher power. Whatever it is you serve, whatever you believe, every leader needs a higher power. This is how you tap in to the greatest level, most divine level of peace, is tapping into the higher power and allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to have work life harmony. That's it. Now we can go to number 10. And the 10th and final state of global awareness is the state of hope and faith. Hope and faith, Barry, what does that have to do with leadership? Let me tell you, everything. Hope and faith is the reason you have a vision, because you're hoping, you're believing by faith it's going to happen. Hope and faith is why you hired the people you hired, because you believe that bringing them on board would add significant value to the bottom line of your organization. Hope and faith is why people get up and come to work in the first place. It's why you keep showing up. With all of these pressures that are going on in your life, you operate from the state of hope and faith, and you infuse that into everyone that works with you, that works for you, everyone you lead and serve. You instill that. If you're a politician, you better be good at instilling hope and faith. Right now, it's everything is doom and gloom, doom. That's why there's so much separation. Nobody wants to hear doom and gloom. It's on both sides. You all know both sides. I don't have to go into it. Left, right, elephant, donkey. Anyways, but if I was running for any office, that would be the number one thing that I do. Instill hope and faith for everyone. Doesn't mean I agree, but I would still instill hope and faith. I would communicate hope and faith. Here's where we're going. Here's who you get to become. When we get there, we may not agree, but I'm going to make sure you have a pathway to get to where you want to go, live the life you want to live, do as long as it's in the confines of, our humanity and safety and treating everyone fairly, as long as it's not interrupting anyone's life negatively. You do you, boo boo. You do you. Hope and faith. Where in your leadership do you lead in the state of hope and faith? Where do you operate in these states? I'm going to go back and I'm going to just read all 10 of them to make sure you have them. And we're going to be done with today's coaching session. The 10 states of global awareness. Number one, the state of presencing. Number two, the state of self awareness. Number three, the state of mindfulness. Number four, the state of empathy. Number five, the state of active listening. Number six, the state of curiosity. Number seven, the state of love. Number eight, the state of patience. Number nine, the state of peace. And number 10, the state of hope and love. Now, listen, I hope you got something out of today's teaching, today's part two, as well as part one. Now, if you snuck and listened to part two first and didn't listen to part one, you're missing the other four or four and a half. I think I did four and a half of the states already. Go back and watch this and do me a favor. Share this video with others in your organization. Share it with your peers. Share it with your downline. Share it with your directs. Share it with everyone that you can that you feel would benefit. And let me tell you this again, when you operate from the state of global awareness, what's happening is there's this metaphysical shifting and change that happens in you. You operate from a higher level energy, which means that you don't burn out as fast. You operate, as I said, in a state of peace that is for you and is also for the people that you lead and serve. It spills over into them. Imagine these states at work at all times. And then also imagine you coaching and developing others and it overflowing from you into your directs and from your directs into their teams. Imagine and visualize what your organization would be and look like. So listen, once again, if you have not purchased the book, my book, The Gift Cult Leadership, How the Leader's Presence Empowers Others to Succeed, go to the website, thegiftcultleadership.com, $24.99. Get one for yourself, your entire team. I think it's going to be a great investment in you. And then if you would like to call me and talk some things, maybe you're stuck in some areas, the book reveals something within you or your team that you want to talk through, book a 30-minute clarity call. Once again, the link is in the notes. Without further ado, that is my time. My friend, my name is Barry E. Knight, and my purpose and calling is to help you succeed in yours. Two fingers.